everything changes.
Hey everybody, welcome into the RockstarFlipper YouTube channel. And by popular demand, a ton of requests, I'm gonna do a video about filing your taxes as a small business owner. Now, big, huge disclaimer, not an accountant, I'm not a CPA, not licensed, I cannot give you financial or tax advice. This is simply my experience. This is for entertainment value only, so please hire a CPA or somebody to help you do this. But I wanna show you exactly what it is the IRS asks for when you are filing your taxes. Now this goes for any small business or business owner when you go through filing taxes, but because of what I do, because of what most of the people watching this video do, it's gonna be specific to reselling, showing like cost of goods and merchandise and expenses, etc. And there's gonna be some edits and some jumps around here. So number one reason is because I'm gonna be inside of a tax software that shows my personal information. So I'm definitely gonna have to do some heavy editing and make sure I black out or clear some stuff. So if you ever see any black or missing areas, that just means it was my personal information, like my address or phone number or whatever appears in these boxes. The second thing is I'm not going to go in the order that it goes in because I'm going to have to kind of skip around to get the right video and the right thing, but I just want to give you an overall general idea of how it works. Now the third disclaimer here is that I'm using H&R Block, so of course there are several different tax programs. There's TurboTax, there's Quicken, like QuickBooks has an addition. I use QuickBooks, but I don't use it for my taxes because I honestly, it's really confusing. The H&R Block one is the best. I've used it for probably 8-10 years. I don't even know, as long as I can remember. I think it's the easiest. It was the cheapest this year. It generally is the cheapest. You can also go into a tax office like the Hewlett, whatever that one is. You can go into an H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, that's the one I was thinking of. You can go into H&R Block, you can go into all these offices or a CPA and they'll file for you. The difference is when you're not doing it on a software computer website, they're gonna give you the paperwork, and the paperwork is gonna have all these boxes. It's the same box that the software has, but you have to know what those boxes mean and what they're asking. Your CPA will, and that's why it's good to hire one. But with the software, it tells you. So for example, one of the boxes might say, how much did you spend on supplies? And so supplies, like if you bought a new computer, that's not a supply, that's equipment, that's different. Your supplies would be like your ink, your toner, your labels, your thank you stickers, everything that you use up that is actually physically used. Ink pens that might go bad and you have to replace. If it's equipment that you're using long term, that goes in a separate box. And so if you weren't a CPA and you weren't using the software, you were filling out that paperwork, you wouldn't know that because the box just might say supplies. And so we don't know that. But on the software, especially H&R Block, it actually tells you, include paper, ink, supplies that are used up, don't include furniture, computers, equipment. Two separate things. So that's why I use the software, because it makes it very, very clean and easy to understand and use. There's other boxes like it'll say travel, include your plane tickets, train tickets, anything you use to get to business conferences or business meetings. Do not include, parking tolls. So if you went to a convention center and you flew there, you could put the plane ticket inside your travel, but if you parked at the convention center and paid 10 bucks, that goes in a different box. So again, it clears these up and categorizes them for you, which is why I always preach to use one of either QuickBooks or GoDaddy, because they can put them all into categories, and then you can take that category over to H&R Block or TurboTax and put it right in the correct box that it corresponds to. So these are all things that you should remember, you should do. You should hire a CPA for your first year or two until you learn it. And then like me, it's been 8 to 10 years. I pretty much can do my own. I know every box, I know what it means, I know how to fill it out. I've done it more times than I care to admit to, but it's really not that bad. So let's go over to my computer. I'm gonna show you some examples of the boxes, and hopefully this will help you not be overwhelmed by doing taxes. Again, this is not a comprehensive, full 100% A to Z how to file your taxes. This is just giving you an idea, and I'm not licensed. I can't give you any advice. Use this for entertainment purposes and for my own experience. Let's do it. Okay, so this part of the tax prep is, I'm doing it through H&R Block. Of course, there's other ones like Quicken, Intuit, TurboTax, all those different programs. Obviously, I'm going to go ahead and black out all of my personal information, but I'm just going to show you how easy it actually is to file taxes through one of these softwares. And don't forget, if you do it inside of the office or through a CPA, it's going to be like actual physical papers that you'll have to fill these blocks in. The software is so much easier to use because, especially H&R Block at least, it walks you through each individual part of each box, each deduction, what they mean, what they are, what they include, etc. Now, I've already filed my taxes, but I'm going to just make up some numbers here. I'm going to pretend like I'm filing them again or filing a different year and just make up the numbers. So none of these numbers are going to be real. And anywhere that my personal information is or that you see black boxes, that's just going to be, blurred out, and so you can't see it. When you start off on H&R Block, you get a couple different options like individual, married, whatever. Mine is self-employed. Obviously, I own a business. Over here, it's going to tell you the year. So this would be 2018 taxes. Obviously, you file those in 2019. Federal refund. This is going to show whether they owe you money, which would be positive, or if you owe them money, which would be negative. You can also look at your previous taxes, your account, etc. Now, we're going to start with federal. If you live in a state with state income tax, it'll walk you through the state afterwards. In Florida, we don't have state income tax, so we don't have to worry about cutting through that part of it, but it'll still show it to you. If you have that, it'll automatically go through. So at the bottom is a your info, income, deductions, credits, taxes, and wrap up. It'll go through each one of those. It has a dependents, filing status, and summary. And basically, you're just going to click through the screen. So the first screen, we see that it's asking for first name, middle name, last name, marital status, date of birth, etc. Return is for a taxpayer who passed away or a legally blind or disabled. So my information's in there. You just click the next box. And on the next box, it's going to ask you for a social security number. Obviously, I have that blurred out. If your social security number for employment is not valid, you just click next. It's going to want your phone number. You just click next. Mine is blurred out. Now, simple tax questions. So we're going to click let's go. Were you a U.S. citizen? Well, yep, of course I was. So next. Did you live in the U.S. for more than 6 months? Yes, I did. Were you a student in 2018? Well, no, I am not a student. So I click no. If you were, you can select yes. It'll walk you through that. Can someone else claim you as a dependent? That means, do you live with somebody who's claiming you on their taxes? You'll need to know that. Do you live with your mom? Do you live with your dad? Most of you will not. If you are married, of course, you'll be filing married jointly. If you're individually, if maybe your husband takes care of you, or if you have a boyfriend who takes care of you, that could be a dependent, but you'll have to know that for your own thing. So we'll just click next because I'm not. Do I have any dependents? No, I don't. I don't have any children. I don't have any kids. I don't support anyone. Kate is her own person. So the answer to that is no. Do you have a child who lived with you in 2018 who's not your dependent? No. So that would be like if somebody's, your fiance's kids from a previous marriage lived with you, or maybe something like that. Obviously, that doesn't qualify for me. And my filing status is single. So, okay, we're good with that. Now it wants to know a wrap-up of my information. So you guys will be able to see your household, your address, your filing status. You just click next. Now it wants to know the income. So we'll just click let's go. Do you want to start on your W-2s? So W-2s is if you have an employer, if you get a paycheck. I don't have that. So I will skip for now because I don't have any W-2s. Is this still your current address? Obviously, yes. We'll click next. What do you do for a living? And so mine is self-employed. It also says, do you have more than one occupation? Were you military or a member of the clergy? I'm not clergy. I'm not military. And I don't have more than one occupation. That would be if you work a full-time job and you have a business, or if you have multiple businesses, that could all be part of having more than one occupation that you do for a living. I don't. I own a business. All of my streams of income are under that business. So we'll just click next. Do you have any foreign accounts or assets? No, I don't. Did you live in Florida on December 31st? Yes, I did. Did you live in Florida all year? Yes. Did you earn money in any states besides Florida? Now, if you have inventory at FBA, Amazon, that does not count as earning money in other states. They're just stored there. You're still earning the money in Florida. So the answer is I did not earn money in other states. And now they're going to ask for our income. So we don't have any W-2s, and we only have our self-employment or business income, right? And so do you need to tell us about any other additional income? No, we're done. So this is the income that we know about, right? And so under business, it's going to show some numbers. We'll go ahead and, again, this is all just make up numbers that I just typed in. And you just click next. And it says here's some common deductions. Now, if you go back to the income tab where we just were, we can revisit the self-employment, and it wants you to add a business. Now, mine is already added. This would normally be blank, you add it in. And so mine is online sales, and you just edit it. And under edit, it's going to ask you again for normal business, all this information. No employees. Do you have inventory? Yes. Are you required to file a 1099? I am not, but if you had anybody who worked for you on 1099, then you would file that. Are you a tax shelter, losses, passive loss, statutory? Most of these will be no for most of you. Your accounting method is cash, self-employment tax not exempt. You need to pay self-employment. This will calculate it. And material participation, that means you were the one that ran the business. That is a yes. And so you can edit these if you need to. You just click the edit button, then click next. Okay, what type of income did your business have? Did you have 1099 miscellaneous, 1099K, other income from products or services sold, income from other sources, or returns and allowances? And so you'll need to check each one of these. PayPal will send you a 1099 K, and other places, if you have YouTube or affiliates, might send you 1099 miscellaneous. Whatever they say on that 1099, you'll go ahead and check that box. And then you click next. And so then it wants you to add those people that you got paid for. Let's say you had a 1099K from PayPal. You would add it in, and you just type in PayPal. And then you would type in the amount and the federal withholding. So normally they don't withhold anything. So you just type in, let's say you did 12,550. And so that would just be your number, and you would add that. And so then there's our number. It's from PayPal. Let's say that's all that you had. You click next, right? And this is just an advertisement. We just next through that. Then it wants to know everything that you have business expense-wise. Did you have advertising, commissions, contract, employees, employee benefit, equipment? All of these different categories. Remember, I always tell you guys there's tons of different categories. So based on my $12,500 income, I currently owe the IRS $1,528. See, it's calculating it for us over here. Well, that's before we put in our expenses, our cost of goods, and our deductions. So we would just go through this. Let's say business cards. You actually had business cards. Advertising, right? So we'd go ahead and go through that. We had commissions. You would check everything that you had here. Meals and entertainment, if you had travel, other overnight travel, if you went to eBay Open, you'd had supplies. And then when you click next, it's going to ask you each box. How much did you pay in advertising? That's business cards, flyers, newspapers, internet, television, radio, charitable events. Do not include advertising intended to influence legislation or elections. That does not count. So business cards, let's say you bought some business cards for $150. Let's say you bought a newspaper ad for $100, so your total would be $250. This is the total of everything. This is why when you're in QuickBooks or in GoDaddy or a spreadsheet, you have to put everything into a categorized column or categorized section. So this would be $250, right? So we'll go to the next one. How much did your business pay in commissions? This is what you paid a salesperson or agent for their services. That could be a virtual assistant. That would qualify here, right? Don't include money you pay to contractors or employees. So if they're on your payroll, they don't get included. And if they're 1099, they don't get included. You don't 1099 somebody from Fiverr or a virtual assistant. They're not an employee, so they don't qualify for that. Those two don't matter. If these are just people that you paid a payout to that are not on your payroll and not 1099. So let's say you gave somebody on Fiverr for 1 month, you tried it out and you gave them $400 to list for you, right? That would qualify. So you'd click that. Now, what were your meals and your entertainments? Let's say you qualified 300 meals and you did 500 entertainment, right? And you could qualify. So meals while traveling overnight on business lunch, refreshments at an open house. Lavish or extravagant expenses do not include. Expenses for a facility like a yacht, a hunting lodge that's recreational, club memberships, golf clubs, daycare meal expenses. These do not count. And you can look into this deeper by Googling it, but what you included and what not included are right there. How much did your business pay in overnight travel, plane, rails, car, rentals, lodging, baggage, laundry, telecommunications, what to include and what not to include? And so this is all, let's say plane and rail was 400, cars was 100, lodging and baggage was 800, and that's all we did, right? How much did your business pay for supplies? This is items that cost $200 or less. Items with a useful life of 12 months or less. That's like ink, toner, paper, all that sort of thing. Do include merchandise bought for sale to customers. Does that mean that you did tissue paper for the boxes? Materials used to produce goods or assemble goods for sale. Let's say you're a photographer that does frames. You put pictures in frames. That would count. Printer cartridges, printer paper, cleaning materials, supplies. Do not expense items in this column that you entered as business inventory. Inventory does not go in here. So let's say you spent $900, right? We're going to click next. IRS just calculated an H&R Block over here. You had a total of $3,000 in expenses, general expenses, and it brought you down to owing $847. And so there might be more. If you think of more, you can come in here and edit and add things and edit things in to deduct. So now you made $12,550, you owe $847. And so that's how it works. And you'll go through each menu. They'll do credits for kids or college or healthcare, and eventually you'll get to the end and you'll do a wrap up. And so that is how easy it is. I just want to give you guys a basic idea. There's a lot more to it. You'll need to, get a CPA to help you the first year, 2 year. I just wanted to show you exactly how easy it is so you're not overwhelmed. If you have your numbers and you have them categorized and you know what they are, you can read these boxes and insert things just like that. All right, so that was a basic breakdown of how the software, the tax softwares, at least H&R Block works, and most of them are similar, and they'll have a little bit of wordage difference or different categories, different things, but for the most part, that is it. This is why it's so important to have that Excel spreadsheet, to have QuickBooks or GoDaddy in order to keep track and categorize those correctly. I'll include my free spreadsheet below that is a basic accounting sheet, and you guys can use that. You can download it. It's free. Just put your email in. It'll shoot it to you. It is Excel, so you have to have Excel or Google Sheets to view it, but or a way to view Excel spreadsheets, and you can edit it, but all the formulas are in there. So if you do download it and you edit it, know that I've put formulas in. It may alter them if you mess with them. Download it, duplicate it, and mess with the duplicate and save the original. That way you have it, or save the email that you get. Now, once you have that and you're categorizing things, you'll be in a better place to do this software. Obviously, there's more to it. You'll need to conduct an interview with a CPA for the first year or two to get the hang of it, to know everything that you're filling out, to make sure that you don't mess it up. But that will get you started and give you a general idea of how they do things. Now, with that said, you can join my VIP group, which will also be linked below. And we go over these things, the categories, what qualifies, what doesn't, what you can deduct, what you can't deduct. Again, none of us are certified licensed CPAs, accountants, or financial advisors, but we can give you a general idea on what we do, and then you can, of course, go consult a CPA afterwards. So hopefully that helps you. Hopefully you understand what I just did. It gives you a general idea of how it works. Go download that spreadsheet and consider joining us in the VIP group. It's $49 for the whole year. You will learn a wealth of information. You will make your $49 back tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. And then below that, I'm going to include a link for our 90-day challenge to double your sales in 90 days. And of course, if you're doubling your sales or increasing them in any way, you have to track the expenses and the sales, because they're all going to balloon and grow. And so I will include that goal spreadsheet as well down below. You'll see all these links down below in the description box, and a link to join the 90-day challenge with the training, which also includes membership to the group, all of my Bolos, all my guides, everything. Check it out below. It will describe to you what you're going to get, and we hope to see you inside. It is worth every penny, and I guarantee you, if you do the training and you're making less than a couple $1,000s a month, I will double your sales monthly. So check it out. Hit the links, buy it, join us, and we'll see you inside. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.